Screen time. How much is too much? A lot of parents are asking this question at the moment. In Australia, we do know that children are spending too much time on devices. We also know that this can lead to impacts on physical health. We know that it has a huge impact on sleep, even quality of friendships, mood, even memory going to school. So we have to be very careful about the amount of time that kids are spending on devices because it can have an impact on other areas of their life and health. The research tells us that the recommendation is that for leisure time, so that's time outside of homework, outside of time spent at school, for children between 18 months and 10 years of age, that 1 hour of leisure time on devices is fine, but leave it at that. For children 10 and above, that 1 hour of leisure time online is actually beneficial for a child's mental health. Between 1 hour and 2 hours, there's no added benefit, but it's not detrimental. But after 2 consecutive hours of device time, it can become detrimental for that child's mental health and well-being. We know on average that Australian children will spend at least 6 hours on devices every day. Now that does include time at school. That's not just limited to leisure time, but the exposure is quite extreme. I really hate when parents have this fear-mongering put on them. And so we have to be realistic when we set times around screens. You shouldn't feel guilty if you just hand your child a device for a couple of minutes or some time when you need it, but it should never take away from a structured technology schedule that you have. It should add to it, not take away from it. If the goal is to drastically reduce screen time, it's important that we talk with our kids about it, not to them about it. So we have to sit with them and ask them, what do you want? What works in with your lifestyle? And try and hear what they have to say. Then you build a schedule that's on your terms as a parent, but that kind of works in line with what they want as well. That'll get the most buy-in from them is when they feel included. In order for parents to pull back some screen time, kids might be upset, and that's expected. But if we have positive reinforcements, that makes it worthwhile for the child and a little bit better. So what positive reinforcements mean is that if parents set up a schedule that is pulled back on that time a little bit, but if kids stick to that schedule, if it's met with some sort of real life reward, then at least kids are getting something out of it. So that techno tantrum that they might experience decreases quite a lot. It could be like extra time on the weekend to be on a device, or it could be nothing to do with devices. It could be that they get to pick their favourite snack on the weekend while you have family movie time, or they get to do an activity like go to Adventure World or a theme park. Whatever it is, you have to give them something so that they have extra buy-in into having decreased screen time. That only has to last for about a week. It doesn't have to be an ongoing thing. It's just to get that schedule in place to start out with. Screen time is not just screen time. We can think about it in terms of quality and quantity. Things that are educational have better quality, and it means that they can spend more time online engaged in that. But things that aren't as good quality, perhaps a game that might be a little bit violent, that's still okay, but then it's associated with less of a quantity as well. It's kind of like a seesaw. We know that screen time has a significant impact on sleep for children and not in a positive way. So we know we can see neural scans that show that after screen time, kids go into an elevated state of what we call cognitive arousal, which means that their quality of sleep is impacted significantly. We know with children, if their quality of sleep is impacted, they have problems with memory consolidation, they have mood issues often, and they have difficulty learning at school the next day. Sleep is paramount. There needs to be some very strict controls around when your child has access to technology at night time. And usually the recommendation is no access to technology 1 hour before bed. I love the issue around boredom because kids, when they're bored, can be insufferable sometimes. And so often the solution that parents will give to kids is to actually give them access to a device. Being bored is fundamental for young children. If they never get an opportunity to be bored, then they don't learn how to be creative. And they don't learn how to tolerate boredom. We all have to learn how to tolerate going to Nana's 70th birthday where it's a little bit boring and you have to sit down. Everyone has to learn the skill of dealing with that without complaint. And children are no different. Children need opportunities and time to be bored. So send them outside. Don't give them a device. And what you'll find is happen is maybe the first 15 minutes they'll get frustrated. But then they'll have to feel that boredom. But don't fix it. Let it sit with them, and they have to solve their own boredom issue. It is not your job as a parent to do that. You sit with your children and you create the schedule in a parental control tool that works for you. Ask them what they want, ask them what they need, and even get them to build into their profiles their own schedules. They'll feel like they have a sense of control over when they actually get to be online. Even though it's actually coming from you, they'll feel like they're included. And that's a perfect way to get them to decrease the resistance that they might be feeling if you're telling them what to do, or a parental control tool is telling them what to do. The single thing that parents should bear in mind about screen time is that not all screen time is bad. In fact, we know that it can have a really positive effect for children. The key point for parents to remember is finding balance. Having a structure and making sure that kids know that time online is fun, but time offline is just as important.